Sean, you ready? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into O'Neill's Grill for our weekly fan and press luncheon. Today's lineup will have Sean O'Regan, head coach of JMU women's basketball Dukes, and he'll be followed by Lewis Rowe, head coach of JMU men's basketball. Welcome again to O'Neill's Grill. My name's Kurt Dudley. A pleasure to be with you here today. A few notes on other JMU sports before we get into basketballs. We're in the what we call the crossover season. A lot of spring sports well underway, as well as our winter sports starting to wrap things up. And speaking of winter sports, the swimming and diving Dukes just wrapped up their Colonial Athletic Association championships, finishing second to William and Mary. A few awards were doled out to James Madison athletes and coaches, in fact. Olivia Lehman named the most outstanding diver of the meet as she won both the 1 and 3 meter diving competition to sweep all the diving as she wins that award. So she ends up with 3 goals in her career. She also had a first place finish last year on one of the boards. John Walsh, her coach, was named the diving coach of the year, and Dane Peterson was named the CAA co-coach of the year for women's swimming and diving. For other sports, a good weekend, pun was intended, for JMU softball, going 4-1 at the Auburn Tiger Invitational, including a split with the second-ranked Auburn Tigers. The Dukes lost the opener against the Tigers 4-0, but then came back for a 1-0 decision. Megan Good was in the circle for that game. She ended up with the one hitter in that contest, striking out 10. Megan is 8-0 with a 0.27 ERA. You have to get out a magnifying glass to find it. 78 strikeouts in 51 innings. The Dukes are 12-2. This weekend returned to Florida for the Diamond 9. Pardon me. And they return home for their first home game on March the 11th. They'll host a tournament that weekend. Baseball off to a great start, 6-1, their best start since 2011. Brett Johnson had 3 home runs in the Dukes' 25-9 win over UNC Asheville on Saturday. So he was named the National Player of the Week by Collegiate Baseball Magazine. The team is hitting .300, and the ERA is a 3.34, so very healthy numbers on both accounts. JMU is expected to play Richmond today in the home opener, but that game is washed out. We're expecting some heavy rains here late this afternoon. It has been moved to April the 12th. April the 12th, it'll be a 6 o'clock Wednesday night game, so maybe we'll get a few more fans to come out. The Dukes now will open up on Friday at 3 o'clock against Buffalo, a 3-game series. They'll also face Buffalo on Saturday at 2 and Sunday at 1 at Veterans Memorial Park. Admission is free to all baseball and softball games during the regular season at Veterans. Lacrosse ranked 19th on one poll, 15th on the other. Beat High Point 15-4 on Saturday in the home opener at Centera Park. That was win number 119 for Shelley Clays-Balkum, the Dukes head coach. That establishes a program record. Again, free admission for lacrosse. The Dukes entertain Longwood on Friday night at 7. On to women's basketball now. The Dukes 21-7, 14-3 in second place in the CAA. They have one regular season home game. That's tomorrow against the College of Charleston. It begins at 7 o'clock. And with that, the Dukes, they are at least the second seed. If they win tomorrow night and Elon happens to lose at home against UNC Wilmington, then the Dukes will tie for regular season title and would be the number 1 seed. If that's the case, then they would switch their game times on March the 9th. Right now, if the Dukes finish as the number 2 seed, they'll play at 5 o'clock on March the 9th at the CAA Women's Basketball Championship Tournament at the JMU Convocation Center. It gets underway on March the 8th. You can get an entire session book. A general admission ticket is $30. A reserve seat for the entire tournament is $40. They're on sale now. You can go online to jmusports.com, or you can, of course, go to the JMU ticket office as well, or call 568-3853. Tomorrow night's game will be on Matazone HD Sportsnet free video, presented by the JMU Alumni Association, with Max Barefoot calling the play-by-play. Kate Desmond, who celebrates a birthday today, by the way, she will be doing the color. And you can also hear it on the JMU Sprint Broadcast Network beginning at 6:30 with Craig Orndorff. Last week, the Dukes beat Drexel on the road 74-64, but lost at home to William and Mary 62-53. Precious Hall is 7th in the NCAA in scoring at 23.2 points per game. She has 2,156 points. That moved her past Tamara Young for second all-time at JMU. She remains 4th in the CAA all-time behind Elena Della Dawn, Dawn Evans, and Gabriella Margenia. Again, tomorrow the Dukes against the College of Charleston. The Cougars 9-19, 6-11. 7th seed are the Cougars. The Dukes beat the Cougars on February the 19th in Charleston, 84-78. And now we'll bring into our luncheon here this afternoon, Coach Sean O'Regan of JMU Women's Basketball. Coach O'Regan.
It's funny how a Sunday game can spoil what you did on Friday. Felt really good after Friday's win. I thought that was a really good win for our team. Felt really confident. I thought we had good bounce, but was really proud of us on Friday how we fought, and I was just disappointed with the way we fought and the way we came out and played on Sunday. So, one of those things. I didn't think we fought. We certainly didn't shoot it well, but I didn't think we fought very well. For the loose balls, hustle plays, and I think what I'm hoping is that March 11th we're sending William and Mary some flowers and thanking them for kind of waking us up. So hopefully it's a wake-up call, and it'll help us get ready for Wednesday and help us get ready for the tournament. It's like 1 out of 2 times you
there
get
we
there.
go. Maybe. I don't know. Regardless. Obviously, this is a unique situation today because you actually saw your team practice yesterday.
Yeah.
What did you think about their response to Sunday's effort?
Really as expected to me. I didn't think they were. They're all disappointed, and there's no time for that. I'm disappointed too, but there's no time for that. So again, we watched a little bit more concise and to the point film. Really not focusing on necessarily offensive execution or defensive game plan. It was really all about the hustle plays and all about the effort plays. And then, we went out there. I thought we practiced hard for whatever it was, 30, 40 minutes. It wasn't long, but I thought it was what we needed. I think practice, especially for me, and I think our team, it gets some of those emotions out. So kind of as expected, where they were disappointed, but I told them, remember who we are. We've been successful for a reason, and part of it is we have bounce and we have confidence, and we find a way to win, and so that's a lot of what we talked about yesterday.
Coach, struggling from the field like you did, what do you think about your shot selection? Were you taking the kind of shots you wanted your team to take?
Well, the second part of the video, Dave, was we put together. Not all, because we rushed some shots down the stretch when we were losing, last minute. But, I showed them, we get a ball movement, baseline drive. They kick it to Haley. Haley misses the shot on Sunday. And we took a clip from earlier in the year and showed her the exact same shot, and she made it. So I'm not disappointed with our shot selection other than the last minute. I thought we took some too deep and rushed them. But other than that, throughout the game, so let's say 15 of them, it's exactly what we do. I just sometimes the ball doesn't go down. It's a great example last night. Steph Curry goes 0 for 11. He's one of the greatest shooters to ever live. He's 0 for 11, and it's one of those things. The only disappointment I had was controlling our controllables, which is the defensive end and the hustle plays. And I thought that's what I thought got us beat, not necessarily not making threes.
With the disappointment that you had from Sunday, have you pointed back to what you were able to do on Friday as a positive to try to get the team's spirits lifted back up? Because going and doing what you did there is kind of a tough thing to do. Yeah,
I was riding high after that one. But no. I mean, what we've done and the consistency that we've tried to bring is that after every game, after we watch film of that game, it's done. And so, I don't like using our record, but I did use our record a little bit in that, we've beaten the best teams in our league, twice, And so we're doing something right. And don't forget that just because the ball didn't go down for us or, I really was very conscious of not having them focus on making a shot. But we did not. We were not as quick to the ball as we needed to be. And those sort of things, that's what's got us here. I don't believe this to be the most talented team that I've seen in my last 10 years, not even close. But we do all those little things most of the time, and that's what helps us win. So I didn't look at the Drexel game. I looked at the whole when we talked about it. But, again, we watched film of that yesterday. We closed the book on William and Mary, and it's on to the next one, and you got to have your eyes forward.
You talked a little bit about Haley. For the most part this season, you've sort of described Haley as not really that, point guard is going to drive and kick, but over the past couple of games, that's kind of what she's been doing. What is that something you've asked of her? Is that something that she's just naturally starting to do now for you guys?
It's her. It's she's taking what the defense gives. I'm big on a lot of people are playing a zone where I can't joystick the play exactly how I want to. And you got to make reads. You got to be a basketball player. And I thought her confidence is growing, and she's able to make those plays. I think the more she sees it go in, the more she'll try to do it again. And it's a big element for us because certainly if you got Precious on that wing, they're not leaving her. Now, if Haley continues to be a threat inside there, maybe they do leave her a little bit. Now we got to drive and kick to Precious. So not something we've really harped on with her at all. She's just really stepping up.
I guess in that same vein now, 8 2-point field goals for her in the last 7 games, which is remarkable, obviously. Again, is that her sort of taking more ownership and deciding to score? Is that just sort of happenstance? What's allowing her to get inside the paint a little bit more?
I think she's just taking what they give her, and she's always been capable. We've always focused mostly on her three because I think that if that's how she starts, then now people are flying at her. Now she has an easier mid-range jump shot. So we've always focused on her three, but she's capable of doing that, and that's what I try to tell her all the time is, okay, what, you're not a Division I basketball player? Of course you are. Get in there, finish, and you know what you're doing. But it's been interesting. Some of the finishes she's had lately have been really impressive. The kind of Euro step she had, even the right-handed move she had in Drexel, I thought they were really impressive. So I think she's just growing in confidence.
What are you hoping to see from your team tomorrow? Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, tomorrow. We're hoping to see from you tomorrow as a sign to bounce back and that they're really ready for next week.
So I expect them to be as bouncy as they've been all year for a lot of reasons. One, you got to respond to playing poorly. Win or lose, you got to respond to playing poorly and learn from whatever it is we weren't doing well. And what we weren't doing well, we weren't bouncy. And you're also, playing. You're also playing for one of the best to put a JMU uniform on, and I hope that carries a lot of meaning with our team because. I've said it to them, how hard would you want your underclassmen to play for you? And it's unique. We only have one senior. Last time we did this was Sarah Williams. But I expect us to be ready to go. And for no better term than that, but we will be ready to go. And we need to come out with aggressiveness. We need to come out and get every little loose ball. We need to be aggressive, and we need to play with the highest level of confidence because that's kind of who we are.
Coach, you're used to tight turns with Friday, Sunday, but now you're Friday, Sunday, Wednesday. Does this present any more problems for your team or challenges, or is it a good thing to get back so quickly after the way things unfolded on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing. If we had to wait all the way to Friday, I think that's grueling. We've done that twice. So I'm excited to get back for sure. I think it was nice to even practice the day after, because again, our last 3 losses have all been on a Sunday. But no, I think it's a good thing. And then we can kind of take our break, take a deep breath, reset, and you got no record now. If you're 22-7, which I hope we are, it doesn't matter. You're 0-0 right now. So. I think it'll be a good thing for us to get back as soon as we can to see the ball go in and get back to playing the game we love. I mean, I was just talking to Devin a little bit. if we can manage 3,000 people at this game, I believe we break the attendance record. I don't think we've ever averaged more than 3,000 a game. So that would be really neat to me if we can break that threshold. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of emotions with Precious, but I think it'll be a good thing. The sooner we can get back out there, the better. Wish we played today.
Thank you for teeing up my question there, because one of the things Lou talked about on Saturday was just the fact that maybe the emotion of senior day sort of had an effect on his team a little bit early on. Given the fact you have one senior, given the fact that it's a player of Precious caliber, what are you afraid of how this team will manage, I guess, the emotions of the day?
I'd be more worried if we had five seniors. I honestly think that affected Drexel a little bit, that they had 3 seniors that had been through so much together. I think it'll be less. I think Precious will be the one. I think the underclassmen will play, and that's kind of what their job is. So, I don't expect it to be emotional, but not as much as, the emotions last year were pretty high with Jazz, Muff, Perez, Precious being there and going through it, and then Destiny. That's a huge class. So I don't think it'll be as high as something like that, but it's always something. It's my first senior night too, so I don't exactly know what to expect from that viewpoint.
How do you think Precious is going to deal with the emotion? Because obviously she still's got a chance to play at the Convo next week in the quarterfinal game. But how do you think she's going to deal with all this emotion surrounding it, the entire day being about her?
Like she does with all I think she's going to light it up. I think she'll respond, and I think she's going to have a really good time. I told her if she wanted to shoot it 61 times, go ahead and shoot it 61 times. You've earned the right. But obviously, I don't think she'll get 61 up. But no, I fully expect her. She's built for moments like this. She's gone through. I mean, the amount of stuff she's gone through. I don't think a senior night. Again, to your point where. Yeah, on March 9th, we're going to play at the Convo. So does that diminish it a little bit? I think so. But she still feels the emotion. She's a very emotional player and person. So she'll be emotional. But, again, we get 10 days from now, we get another chance to play in front of the home crowd.
So Plum set the mark at 57. You're going to let her go for 58 if she wants to?
You can go for as many as she can get up. I'm telling you, just keep letting them fire. We'll go rebound for you.
It's not – every year you get to celebrate a senior twice. This is her second senior day ceremony. Can you describe just this season alone what she's meant to, obviously, you and what she's been able to do just from this 1 year?
Pushing me, David. You take my words away from tomorrow night a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. No, what I've watched her do this year, I think has been like no better word than amazing. And what I've watched her do is, we've gone through this thing, and the best comparison I had is like a Dawn Evans, in that she's responsible for shooting the ball quite a bit. Down the stretch, everybody turns to her, and she's come through. I mean, she's produced in every big game that we played. I mean, you go Tennessee, you go Florida State, you go Iowa, you go Wake Forest, all those big games where people are locked into her and they're high-level athletes. She produces it, and it just proves how special she is. And, what I think she's done for us the most is helped us continue the legacy and tradition that we have here. And, this year we've had to play 2 freshmen quite a bit and some young sophomores. And the most important thing she did was make sure they know what it takes to win here and what it takes to play here, and how high you have to keep the bar. And that's the invaluable part. The points and all that stuff, that's just been fun to watch for me. But the invaluable part is what she's taught them, and so they can carry that thing on, which is obviously more important for me. It's the future, but it's something that got passed along to her, and she's now passed along to them. So she's special in a lot of ways.
Coach, you just saw Charleston a couple of weeks ago. What do they present that's a challenge for your team, and what did you learn coming out of that first meeting that you can apply to tomorrow's game?
Yeah, we closed down there very poorly, and we lost our composure a little bit towards the end of the game. Bree Bolden is that kid is very good, and she averages 20 a game, but it's her points are not as scary to me as the defensive end. Her break on the ball is off the charts, and it's like I'm watching the film. It's like every time we threw a pass near her, I was getting nervous watching the film. I knew she didn't steal it, but she's electric for them. So you've got I think borderline player of the year candidate in her, Tanisha Brown. I think it's Tanisha, if I'm not mistaken. But again, is a all-conference player. So they've got 2 all-conference players. They surround them with shooters. They score really well. And they're going to sprinkle zone man. Again, that's probably what they did last time. They sprinkled a little bit, but it'll be a challenge. And going into most games, I really generally worry about us and not necessarily. We know what the other team is doing, but it's. We focus on us and our approach and our execution, and that's what we'll do, the same thing. But you'd be foolish to think I haven't talked about Bree Bolden, in the backside of a zone. Don't skip that pass over there, that sort of thing, because her break on the ball is great, and it gives her 6 to 8 points a game. I mean, I think she's almost 4 steals a game. So it'll be a battle. They'll come in here and play hard, but I fully expect us. I think we got. William and Mary played harder than us on Sunday, and that won't happen again.
What you guys need to do differently on Brown to not let her, I guess, exploit you guys a little bit?
We'll do some extra stuff with the digs, but I think she made a lot of shots last time, and I thought we were a little bit late in the post. And what I mean by that is playing early defense, pushing her out a little bit more. When she drives, dig, and be able to surround her a little bit better than we did last time. And again, last time, that was the first time I've seen her play live. I knew how good Bolden was. I didn't know how good Brown was. But, I think we'll be ready for the challenge, especially because of what we just went through with William and Mary and all the focus we put on defense since that point.
Talk a little bit about the combo. You talked about the fact you guys have a chance to set the attendance record. How much of an advantage is it for the CAA tournament to be at the Convo? Not, I guess, take away the home court part of it, but specifically the Convo and the type of environment that you guys get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for our conference. More than just us, and I don't know exactly if you're just talking about us or not, but, I think it's important for the conference to have, our conference is good this year, and I think tournament time is a special time, and I think it's important for Elon and Drexel and us to feel like that has some value in what you're doing, and it should be exciting. You're playing, it's a win-or-go-home scenario, and, I think there should be fans in the stands, and I think JMU and the community around here, the way they represent us is awesome, and if they can continue to do that and make the tournament a special experience for everybody in the CAA, of course us as well, I think that's a pretty cool thing. And I think the timing is right in the sense that we're leading in attendance by a pretty good margin comparatively around the league, and I think it's a perfect time to have it here. But of course, without our fans, it totally changes this whole experience for our players, for everybody involved. And so it's a really valuable thing for us to have, and will be extremely valuable for us when we step out there on the court on the 9th.
Coach, now that you're up against the final regular season game, was this conference what you thought it would be this year? Was it better? Now that you've seen every team you've been through, kind of evaluate the CAA this past year.
I think it's a lot better than it's been. And, maybe not as good as my first couple years with ODU and VCU. Those two were really, really good. But especially the last 3 or 4 years, you cannot take a night off. And we've shown that as much as anybody in the league, in the sense that, we've lost it to Towson twice, who is in 8th or 9th place right now, and lost to William and Mary, who's in 5th. And on any given night, I mean, there's losses. And we could have won any one of those 3 games, but it's such a slim margin, and that's what you go through the experience. Up at Hofstra, they make a push at us. Wilmington makes a push at Wilmington. Charleston makes a push at Charleston. So every night it's a battle, and I think the margin has gotten much slimmer with the talent level and where the coaches are. And it makes sense that 5 or 6 years ago, it was like 6 new head coaches. I mean, William and Mary was new, Wilmington was new, Charleston was new, Towson was new, even Northeastern was new. So other than Hofstra, Drexel, Delaware, and JMU, it's had a bunch of a turnover. And so what it is, these coaches are coming in and starting their program, and now it's year 4, 5, 6, and they've got their kids in there, and they've got the players they've recruited. So I think it's a very logical elevation of the league. But it's been a lot better than I thought, and it's been some really fun challenges this year. But it was a lot better than I thought, and I'm glad. I like the challenge, and I like other than until we did what we did Sunday, I think you really have 2 teams in the mix of an at-large bid too, which hasn't been that way since maybe the Deladon, and I don't even think we pushed up to 32 at that point. So it's been a good league.
Look, you chose to start Lexi again this past weekend over Kamaya. Discuss, I guess, that decision and sort of, was that because Kamaya was coming off the injury? Does Lexi, do you now think about starting Lexi over Ania? How does all of this now play in your mind here?
I haven't thought about any of that, Josh. No, I'm just. It's all I've thought about. It was just a gut feeling in the sense that kind of keeping the train rolling. Kamaya comes off the injury the first game, and we were playing well, and Lexi was playing well, and I thought Lexi's last weekend and Friday night, she's doing exactly what I'm asking her to do, and she actually played better on Sunday than I realized live. So to her credit, I probably should have given her more than what I gave her as far as minutes wise. But we've talked about it quite a bit as a staff and trying to figure out the best combination for us. And so it really, I was talking to one of the players yesterday, and they said, well, starting on this team, really, it's like, we're all playing, and you're picking the ones that are playing the best to finish the games, and that's what we've been doing that all year. And because they bought into that, I think it's really helped us. And in some games, Amber and Sav finish the game, or another game it's Tasia and Lexi at the 4-5, or it's Logan, Haley, P in the guard spot. So that, I think that's really cool if we can continue to hang on to that. And I'll make my decision. I actually know my decision right now. I'm not telling you, but it's something we've looked at. And as long as I just want everybody around this time to start playing their best and let everything else go. But I want Lexi to play her best. I want Kamaya to play her best. I want Ania to play her best, and do the things that they do best for us and playing for us essentially.
Thank you very much, Coach O'Regan. The Dukes hosting the College of Charleston Cougars tomorrow night. Tip-off is 7 o'clock, final regular season home game, and the CAA